Hey everybody, welcome to Philly Film Brothers. Today we are going to talk about the latest DCEU movie, Black Adam, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or well, we can only say Dwayne Johnson now. It's I think he can't use that.
WWE owns that name. Can't say it.
Yeah, yeah. So we went to an early screening, and I just initial reaction. And to give you a little background here, I know nothing about Black Adam, the comic book. I mean, honestly, most superhero movies, I'm not super familiar with the comic book iterations. It's just not something I was.
So you're the worst person to host this then.
Yeah, I'm a comic book movie person, but
So am I. I just like to bust his chops for it.
I knew very little about this. I knew there was a connection to Shazam. Shazam is my favorite. Not MCU. My Shazam is my favorite DCEU movie that I've seen.
It's one of the better ones.
It's my personal favorite, and to be fair, I haven't seen all of them, but I knew there was a connection. I'm like, okay, and I didn't know. I kind of thought this was sort of going to be like a Spider-Man Venom kind of thing. Like, oh, here's like an evil type of Shazam.
Well, yeah, he's basically like his arch nemesis, and if I recall, it was Dwayne Johnson who they were supposed to introduce Black Adam, I think, in either Shazam 2 or a later sequel, but it was Dwayne Johnson that said that pushed to get Black Adam his own movie, his own origin story first.
Yeah,
which I really dug.
I really dug too.
He was. I liked that he wasn't quite the hero. He wasn't quite. He wasn't Spider-Man. He was more Punisher.
Yeah.
And me being a sick and twisted individual, I really dug that.
Yeah, he would say like certain things that I'm like, oh my gosh, he sounds exactly like our stepdad.
Definitely
about like revenge, and he's very brooding but very funny. It kind of reminded me a little bit if like Drax was the star of Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit. Just kind of very stoic but very very funny, like very dry humor.
Yeah,
which I haven't seen Dwayne Johnson do a whole lot of. I really liked what he did with that here. I thought that it's the world building was really interesting. So we're in this new location. I kind of look at it as like, what if Shazam, meaning the movie, happened to someone in a third world country? What would that have looked like? And I just thought it was really, I didn't think the commentary was too on the nose. I felt like it was just enough to make a statement, just kind of about how we tend to only look at issues in our country, don't really look at things globally and how things impact folks globally outside of the country. And I thought it was really great world building. Like you also met a lot of characters.
To the mythology. We got to see the rest of the wizards.
Right.
Like at the height of their power.
Yeah, the world building, and it's like, yeah, clearly there's references to the other superheroes, but it's very much its own thing. And I thought the supporting cast was great. I mean, great to see Pierce Brosnan in a superhero movie. I read that he tried out for Batman, and he made a joke about like wearing underpants outside of the outfit, and that's why Keaton got the job and not him. I mean, I don't know how true that is.
Well, he still got to be James Bond.
Yeah.
Now, by supporting characters, you mean DC's X-Men?
Yeah. Basically,
we have to talk about that.
Well, yeah, like it literally comes out of the ground. Is it Dr. Fate's house they leave from?
Yeah, so it's Dr. Fate and Hawkman and Adams. So I'm just watching it and I'm like, oh, so that's their Doctor Strange and that's their Ant-Man.
That's their Ant-Man. What was his name?
Atom Smasher.
Atom Smasher. I was going to say Molecule Man.
So I did my research. It looks like Marvel did do it first for those characters. In terms of Cyclone, Storm came first. In terms of Atom Smasher, Ant-Man came first. But Dr. Fate made his debut in 1940.
Okay, interesting.
So he did predate Doctor Strange, even though he used kind of some of the same powers, like making clones of himself to confuse his opponent.
It's like, and my special power is special effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was fun. That's the thing is, I wouldn't say like, oh, this is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. No, but I would easily say it's one of my favorite DC movies, DCEU movies for sure.
It it felt like a fun '90s movie, and I say
It
that as a
did.
compliment.
Yeah.
And it's not always a compliment because I meant that as an insult when I talked about Venom, but in this, it worked.
So yeah, I mean the jet comes out of the front of the mansion, which looked like it was pulled right from X Men. One of at least like
Clearly, it was the same architect who built that mansion as Xavier's in
right
upstate New York.
because he crossed in the multiverse. He goes through the multiverse and he does work for both the MCU and the DCEU.
Exactly. Very
Yeah,
lucrative business to
very
be in
lucrative
multiverse
business.
architecture.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean even the supporting characters like the civilians, the mother, son and uncle story I thought were heartwarming. I mean it's hard to you had very big personalities, very big powers happening in this movie
Hmm.
and it's hard to kind of make anyone that's, only human seem interesting, but I found all three of those characters were really interesting. It kind of did seem like it was obviously like another version of Shazam, where kind of like a younger kid who needs a mentor figure, needs like a father figure, and knows everything about superheroes. So like I guess you could argue it is sort of like another version of that in some way.
But in a much different, I felt that Candike is a fictional place, but like you felt it had a spirit. You felt the people there had a spirit. I to your point earlier, they made a very good point about how the Justice Society never showed up till Black Adam did, or sorry, Teth Adam.
Teth Adam, yes. Yeah, and I didn't feel like it was too. I did not feel like it was too preachy or anything like that. It felt like it was just nuanced enough that it was making a statement, but it was also a really fun comic book movie. Yeah, there were some like tropes like no when Doctor Fate dies and all of that, and that's
Yeah,
yeah, you cringe a little bit, but it was fun, and I'm really glad that I went into this not reading the reviews or not even knowing what the reviews were. Like I purposely avoided. I'm like I just want to go in, totally unaware, totally clean. What is this going to be? And I
that's
was
the way to do it.
I was really
Don't watch reviews. Wait,
yeah. Unless you've seen it already. That was
unless you've seen it, then watch as many as you want, like this one.
no, but I'm saying like if I had seen, I think it's at like 50% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. Which Rotten Tomatoes, take it for what it is, but I think that if I had known that, if I'd known it was a low score, I think that might have tainted my view of it, which I think is really
So
interesting.
the DCEU has really suffered from a reputation issue and a PR issue with just the quality of their movies. I mean, going back to Batman v Superman, a lot of these movies are kind of hated before they even come out.
Right. And it doesn't help that, the DCEU is the only cinematic universe where some of its stars kind of regularly uh, beat up people.
There is that. There is that. If anything, that unnamed person maybe was taking a few notes from Black Adam, where violence was the answer. And when he said, "So who do you want to teach the boy violence?" I will do it.
It all makes sense now. There
It
there is
all
a
connects.
well, there's a shot in this movie of when I mean, so Black Adam doesn't know how to use doors apparently, and there's a part where so the kid has all of these Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Flash posters, and like we see like the Flash poster just get destroyed. I'm like, oh, is that like trying to say something?
Well, no, they all got destroyed. You see them smash Aquaman's face on a poster. You see him punch through Superman's hope symbol. So that was kind of much like in Shazam, where we saw a kid playing with a Batman and Superman toy, making them fight each other, and then drops them and loses interest when he sees Shazam. I think that was more just a playful bash at all the other characters.
Right. Well, and that they, they're popular in this world. Like, and
Mm.
that's the thing. When Black Adam first shows up, this is a world where Superman exists. Why would anybody try using guns to get him? Like, and I'm saying in the opening, like you would think these folks would be like fleeing in some way because he just, and it's a really badass scene. Like it is intense. But in a world where Superman exists, and this is someone that clearly has similar powers, like why would these bad guys, other than to look cool for the audience, why would these
Yeah,
bad guys even try to take this guy
because
on with
bad
regular
guys got to
weapons?
be bad. Speaking
Yeah.
of which, can we talk about that moment?
Which moment at the end?
You know of what I speak, the big moment, the one that people in our theater were cheering for when they appeared.
Yeah. So again, spoiler alert: Henry Cavill appears at the end of this movie as Superman, and
He's back for the first time since Justice League. No beard this time, no mustache, no weird
yeah.
Shrek 2 CGI looking face. That was his real face.
Now, to be clear, he also was at the end of Shazam, but they didn't show his face.
That because it wasn't really him because of the
Right.
whole.
I know. Well, I'm saying the character was at the end of Shazam. I'm excited. I mean, it introduces all sorts of possibilities. I am not as familiar with all the lore as I am with the MCU, but I think that this movie shows that the DC knows how to have fun. I think they've been accused of really dark and brooding, but this really worked. I mean, I think even the dark humor worked really well. There's a lot of laughs in this movie. I really loved seeing it with a full audience. I was really excited to be somewhere where people were excited to be at the movies, and I feel like that made my experience that much more positive. I think that's how we're supposed to experience film.
Oh well. Of course it is. It's a communal thing, and we. It's interesting that much like the way that the citizens of the city kind of cheer on Black Adam as their champion. In a way, the audience becomes that surrogate audience to him, and it's
Yeah,
like we are part of that.
yeah, and it's kind of like if you saw it's more serious for theater, obviously, but like if you saw a play without an audience, and
That'd be
like
just awkward.
it'd be kind of weird. And I think that we've gotten into this world now with everything that's happened in the last couple of years, where we're just kind of used to seeing movies like at home on our couch, which is great. Like, yeah, it's better than seeing like a play at home by yourself. But I think you're still missing that community, especially with some films. Like I can't imagine seeing like Spider-Man: No Way Home for the first time without an audience. That really makes it. So I
And the
felt
theaters sadly have not been as full as they. I've still been seeing everything in the theater, and they're not as
yeah.
packed as they used to be. But this was fun.
This was a lot of fun. Hopefully, we get to see Shazam and Black Adam face off, and yeah, hopefully, eventually team up. I hope they don't have to do like some kind of contrived issue that makes them fight at
Well,
first.
here's the trick. Black Adam can't say Shazam's mom's name because he was an orphan. Remember? So already got that covered.
Wow, we went there. Okay. Uh,
Oh, you're gonna say that to me as we talk about a movie where we the audience took joy in a dude straight up murdering like dozens of people. Okay,
I,
okay.
what was that? What was it rated? Was it rated R or PG-13?
No, it's PG-13, but it
It's
toyed
a
with the
it's a tough PG-13. I mean, like
yeah.
splitting, and I think honestly, I think who we have to thank for this kind of edgier DC is James Gunn because he really pushed it.
Yeah,
And
this would not have existed without the Suicide Squad.
yeah, really cool also to see Amanda Waller back, and just as I call the evil Nick Fury.
And Harcourt for those who remember from Suicide Squad and Peacemaker in the prison scene.
Yeah, so it worked. I had fun. Hey, everybody, stop complaining. Go out, see this, have fun. It's a
Go watch. I
blast.
mean, it's Dwayne Johnson. Like
It's Dwayne Johnson.
the dude is like a franchise like himself, and now he's joining one of the big
Hmm.
franchises, and he picked DC instead of Marvel, and that's cool
For now, he might. He
for
might.
now.
He could always join the other side too, because that's
Well, no, he can't because Vin Diesel's on the other side, and they had that whole beef in the Fast and Furious
Oh
movies.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
remember? So maybe that's why he picked DC.
Well, I'm just, we will inevitably have a Marvel DC crossover in like 10 years or something. And I just think it would be funny to see like Black Adam beating the crap out of Groot or vice versa. Something like that would be
Or
really
them
interesting.
awkwardly not making eye contact with each other, like that scene in Fast and Furious.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of the Fast and Furious movies. I just have never had an
You're
interest.
you're better off. So go see
Yeah.
Black Adam. It's really cool. If you
Check it
already
out.
seen it, see it again. And
Yeah.
see maybe we'll get a little Black Adam reference or a cameo in Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Maybe, hopefully.
Hopefully post credit scene. Yeah, no, I'm excited about the DCEU. I wasn't super excited about it, but I think the last few films have been really, really good, and yeah, good stuff. Thanks for watching Philly Film Brothers. We will see you next time.